Morning, everybody. Welcome to today, where we celebrate the memorial of Saint Cyril and Methodius, who Cyril was a monk and then Methodius was a bishop. And so, if we dive into today's Holy Gospel, notice that Jesus was journeying with them through a deserted area, and Jesus was concerned that they didn't have any food to eat as they were journeying through the desert. And so there were the 12 disciples who really didn't understand what the miracles to which Jesus had really did. And so if we reflect upon the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, notice that Jesus was able to really feed the 5,000 men, not including women and children, because he was able to do this in the eyes of God. And so, with that being said, today's gospel, to really further understand the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, as well as the 7 loaves and the 2 fish, we gotta understand what is the role of Jesus in our lives and how he continues to impact each and every one of us here. And so, as all of us here may recall, Jesus is there to save each and every one of us. He doesn't want each and every one of us to be left astray. He wants us to be filled with his love so that each and every one of us here can be able to really see Jesus, who is present in our lives, and we can also sense this happiness to which all of us here are working towards. And so Jesus, in today's Holy Gospel, depicts this moment as he had asked each and every one of us this: what is it that we have to offer? Because there are many times in our life where Jesus gives each and every one of us here a mission to accomplish. And this mission is something that we should try to hold in our hearts for the rest of our life, as it is really Jesus who is calling each and every one of us here. And so some of us may call to evangelize. Why is that? So that we can go and bring God to other people. And some of us here may be called to serve one another. Why is that? Because when we serve one another, we do things for the good of other people to the extent that we actually did this for God. And so in reality, when we continue to serve other people, we serve for God. And so that right there is some calling to which God has for each and every one of us here. And there are times where God has called you and I to go and take a moment with Jesus to really pray and reflect upon our own lives to which we are living here today. And I got this calling to go into praise and worship and to really, really think about how I am loving other people. How sometimes we may bring ourselves apart because we feel like we weren't really good enough. And so I bring this to the table today to remind each and every one of us here that we are truly loved. We are truly loved to the extent that Christ himself will take care of each and every one of us here. And when we continue to love, we don't need to worry about how trying to do everything, because all Christ desires each and every one of us here is our best. He wants each and every one of us here to try and contribute the love. And if there's anything that we couldn't do, Christ will take care of the rest of that. But Jesus wants each and every one of us here to continue to follow him so that each and every one of us here can really pursue this happiness, really pursue this end goal of wanting to meet Jesus at the kingdom of God. And so with that being said, today's Holy Gospel, Jesus had the boy offer up 7 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And so there were many disciples who were confused by Jesus' teaching. And this is the second time that Jesus had done this miracle, where he took the 7 loaves and the 2 fish. He said the blessing, broke it, and gave it to the disciples, to the extent that many were filled. 4,000 men and 7 baskets were filled, which represents the tribes. And so, as we continue to journey throughout the gospel today, let us reflect upon what we have to offer to God. How each and every one of us here can strive to continue to live our life so that all of us here can meet Jesus at the kingdom of God. And if we reflect upon St. Cyril, notice that he had also offered his life for God. At first, he refused government ministry, but then over a period of time, he really accepted God's calling and continued to fulfill the works of God. And so let us continue to follow St. Cyril and St. Methodius so that each and every one of us here can strengthen our hearts as we strive to prepare what there is to come.